Hello, hello, hello. It is Becky Davidson. Hey, Jennifer. How are you?
Hello, I'm so good. Always love chatting with you, Becky. This is the second time we've chatted in 2 days, so we're on a
I
roll.
know. I know, 2 days in a row. I am excited to talk to you. And I love talking with you as well. And we are live streaming into LinkedIn. So if you are watching us live, I want to say hello to all of my LinkedIn connections.
Yay.
And I am super excited to introduce you to Jennifer Jakobsen. And she is a business mindset coach. And we are going to talk about all things mindset and sales and business growth because they all go together, or mindset definitely goes with them. But I want to give you a really good introduction, Jennifer. And so as you're watching, if you're watching this live on LinkedIn, or if you're watching this in a replay on one of my groups, please introduce yourself. I would love to say hello to you. And if you have a mindset question, put it in the comments, or if you have a statement, or what is your belief on mindset? Is that something that you work on? Is that something you just let go on autopilot? I would be curious to hear. But I have known Jennifer for probably about a year, year and a half.
Hmm.
She's part of my community. She's an ambassador in my group. And I love talking to Jennifer. She is a licensed therapist, so she came from a therapist world, and then she transitioned to life coaching and mindset coaching and business mindset coaching. And so she really understands how the mind works, which I love. She is approachable, easy to work with, has a great attitude, and I just love communicating with her. And of course, I'm a sales trainer. And I always say sales trade, in sales, if you're in sales, or if you're a business owner growing a business, it's mindset, skill set, and action. You
Hmm.
have to have all three of those things. You
Yeah,
can't just muscle your way to success because our mind will get in the way.
yeah.
And so thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate you being on with me today. And we're going to talk about mindset, but I would love for everyone to hear from you. Maybe give a quick introduction of who you are, kind of your backstory, and how you got into the mindset world.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Becky. I always appreciate your intros. You make me sound so skilled, and I definitely have lots and lots of experience in the mind. So this is why I am a mindset coach, especially for business owners. And my clients actually coined the term for me, the business therapist, because like you said, I've been a therapist for 25 plus years and I've been a business owner for 8 years. And I basically came to understand how big of a deal mindset is in terms of business growth and success. In fact, any successful person you talk to is going to tell you that mindset is the key to success, right? It's so incredibly important. And since that is my zone of genius, I just decided I'm going to take my therapy background and I'm going to mix it with my business coaching and I'm going to become the business therapist. And so, what I really help people with is all of that mind drama, right? All of the limiting beliefs, all of the stuff that gets in our way in business. And I love how you say mindset, skill set, and action, right? Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Mindset,
Yep.
skill set, and
Yep.
action. And I think they have to come in that order because if you don't have a great mindset, it doesn't matter what your skill set is because you're not going to take the action. So you have to get the mindset first, or, at least have, enough confidence in yourself and belief in yourself to take action. And before we hopped on today, we were talking about how important it is to take action. People, we all wish we could just post something, put it out there in the world, and people are going to come flocking to us. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We have to take bold action. We have to make connections. We have to do some things. And if our mindset isn't where it should be, a lot of times what happens is we get in our own way. We stop ourselves. We basically hold ourselves back from what we are completely, the impact that we could have, on our audience. And it's such a big deal. I can't say enough about it. Obviously, this is my passion. This is what I do. But I also think like it's really it's really important to be able to sell, and that's what you do. And as a sales trainer, like if you don't feel comfortable selling, if you don't believe in yourself and your product, no matter how good
Mm,
you are at selling, you're not going to be able to sell it, right? You have to believe in
yes.
it because, and here's one thing that I talk about a lot in my, in my posts and my trainings with my clients is we really need to show our audience that we know what we're talking about. We need to, and you could have the perfect thing to say, you could have the perfect content or the perfect messaging, but if you don't actually believe in yourself, that messaging is going to fall flat. So this is what's so
Mm,
important. You really have to believe in yourself first. You have to feel like you're enough, that you're worthy, that you have something to offer, because your clients will not feel confident in you if you don't feel confident in you.
100%. So, I'm the queen of quotes. People say
I
things
love
to
quotes
me.
too. I love quotes too.
People say something and it sticks. But years ago, kind of going along with what you just said,
Yeah.
a mentor, someone, I don't even know who it was, said, Becky, your clients, your prospects are the ultimate lie detectors.
Oh my gosh, so true. Yes, yes.
Meaning you can say the words,
Mhm.
but if you don't believe it, they can tell.
They can tell.
And
Yeah,
and another quote that I heard from another person that always stuck with me, what are you leaking? What and we
yeah,
leak our
yeah,
beliefs. We
yeah,
can say it and we can think we're talking confidently and passionately, but
yeah.
you are still leaking your emotions and your
Mm,
beliefs and your confidence. And people can read that when you, if you say it with confidence and conviction. I always say conviction is the magic, because if you
mhm.
can say it with confidence and conviction and
Yeah,
belief in yourself, it's a game changer.
it
So if
really
someone is feeling like they don't have that conviction and that belief, how do you help them fix that? Because where do you even start? I mean, if they don't believe in their business or their, and I sense that in a lot of people I talk to when I say, well, share what you do. Tell me a little bit about what you do. And they're afraid to even, kind of
yeah,
plant
yeah,
their flag on what they do and how they do it and what kind of result they can get. So how do
yeah.
you coach them through something like that if they may not have a deep conviction or belief in what they do?
Absolutely. What a good question. And you probably hear this all the time, but it's different for everyone. But what is, I would say, the very, very first step is becoming super aware of the stories that you're telling yourself, right? Because
Mm,
when you're kind of leaking that, like that lack of belief, sometimes people aren't even aware they're doing it because these beliefs are so deep rooted, right? Many of them
mm,
could have begun in childhood, or have, or even begins when you start your business, because starting your business is like the biggest personal development journey you could go on. And so it brings up all of our insecurities, it brings up all of our doubts that we have. So it's really important to become aware first. And some
right.
of the ways to do that, and I know we're not going to go too deep into this, just on this brief interview today, but it's like everyone's different. So becoming aware, you could feel like your doubt and your insecurities like in your body, right? It might feel like
Hmm.
butterflies in your stomach. It might feel like pressure in your chest, right? Or you could feel it like emotionally, like you just don't feel confident in yourself. And really, like those are all cues that you're telling yourself a story. So everything comes from our thoughts. Everything comes from it's the sentences that are playing over and over in our head,
Hmm.
right? So it's really getting in touch with like, what am I saying to myself? Even if I haven't been aware of it, like bringing those to the surface and figuring out, what have I been saying to myself? Like imposter syndrome, right? Like so many people struggle with this. Like, who am I to be, helping people? Who am I to be teaching someone this, especially if I'm still going through it myself, right? And really, if you're still going through it yourself, as long as you're a few steps ahead of the person you're helping, you're kind of the ideal person to help them because you still get it. It's not like you're so far removed from it that you can't relate to
Hmm.
that anymore. So, yeah, so awareness is so important. And then we need to start to shift those beliefs. We start to really figure out, okay, Like, how is this hindering me? This thought that I'm having, how is it hindering me? And how can we slowly shift this belief so that we start to feel differently? Because as soon as we change our thoughts, our feelings change. And when our feelings
Mm,
change, our actions change. So that's where the work has to come in. And so, one little tip I'll give everyone, because a lot of
yay.
people think, okay, just come up with a lovely, powerful affirmation like, I am
Oh,
best coach ever, right?
oh, right,
If you don't believe that, now, if you believe that, that's great. Go with it. I love it. But if you don't believe it, your brain's gonna, your
right.
brain's no, your brain's gonna
Yep.
be like,
Yeah,
"Mm-mm,
right. It's gonna
nope,
be going,
that,
yeah, right.
yeah, that is not true." So you have to
BS. I'm calling BS on that.
yeah, yeah, your brain will call BS on it completely. So you have to find a new story that you can believe and that also has you feeling better, more confident, more empowered, right? So it's a slow process. And when you can do that, and here's the trick to mindset work. It's super simple, but can be really hard to implement because
Mhm,
you have to continually do it over and over and over again. And I know
mhm.
this so well because I have never been a confident person. Like, I was that little girl who was like hugging onto my mom's leg all the time. I was terrified to talk to anybody, and I just, like I said, I took the action. You take the action and you just continuously give yourself a new story. Help yourself tell your brain a new story, something that's
Mm,
believable, something that it can buy into, and something that's more helpful for where you're going, which is more
mm.
success, more business, more clients, more cash. So, yeah.
I love that. And I have been working on my mindset my whole life because
Yes.
I was also that timid, shy
Yeah.
introvert and didn't think they didn't have the word imposter syndrome back in
No.
the day.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I'm sure I had that looking at other people going, I'll never be like that person. I could never sound like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I totally felt that in my 20s when I was younger and new in sales.
Yeah.
But the thing that I learned is feel the fear and do it anyway, you
Yes.
know, because as you do it scared, do it afraid, do it, do it, do it, you do get more confidence in the thing that you're doing it. So that was kind of my mantra. But yeah, I agree. Affirmations, I used to try them and it was like, this doesn't even feel good.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
feels like I'm lying to myself and I don't like the
Yeah.
feeling.
No, you definitely don't want to lie to yourself. That's
It didn't feel
counterproductive,
right.
right? Yeah.
But I do have one thing that I wrote down as I'm listening to you. I think that we, as business owners or people that are going for big goals, do we not give ourselves escape routes? Meaning, when you've heard people say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to try to build my business or I'm going to try to do this thing." Don't
Mhm.
you feel like people sometimes have one foot in and one foot out, like they have a little escape hatch
Mhm.
ready to happen? And
Oh, yeah.
what are your thoughts on that and building anything and having any success and reaching any goals?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta decide. You have to decide and you have to commit. And if you've heard the saying, you gotta burn the boats. You really do. If you're just toe dipping and like, I might try this, I might do this, maybe I'll put some posts out there. It's never gonna work, right? Like, you have to be all in, because if you're only halfway in, I just don't think that confidence is going to come through. And so I
Mm,
think for those people, I mean, I would love to talk to those people too, because I would love to ask them the question, like, why are you not all in? What's keeping you from being all in? And most likely it's fears. Most likely it's limiting beliefs. It's things that they're telling themselves that probably aren't even true, right? So that's why I say this mindset stuff it's very different for everyone. It's a lot like therapy, which is why I call it business therapy, because we need to get to the bottom of it, right? We need to get to the bottom of what are these blocks? What's holding you back? Why are you not committing? There's a reason there, and we
mm,
need to explore that reason and figure out, like, okay, well, if you have some fears, those fears are normal. And like you just said, Becky, like, feel the fear and do it anyway. But if you're not 100% committed, I just don't, I don't think you're ever going to get 100% success. You're going to get some success, maybe, some people are really lucky, they get
Mm,
some stuff anyway, but if you're hesitant, I feel like your audience is gonna feel that. Your audience is gonna know that and how can they trust you if you're not all in? You know what I mean? So,
100%.
yeah,
100%. Well, and I tell people all the time, or a lot of people I've coached, sometimes they're waiting to see, like, oh, are they going to stick with this? Are they really in it? How long are they going
yeah,
to be around? So they're watching you and seeing, and you either have to be all in or all out because on the
yeah,
fence is not comfortable. No one
mm-mm.
wins by straddling the fence.
No, so
So
true,
definitely.
so true. Yeah, 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 and
So
if they see that, it's gonna be a definite red flag for people.
yeah, absolutely. So I know that we both work with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, and I just kind of realized this recently. If you're working for someone, you always have plenty of people to reach out to and commiserate on, your successes or lack, or, hey, I need some help.
Yeah,
But, and even there, I work with some network marketers that still have upline, downline, and people they can reach out to. But as a solopreneur, as a business owner, entrepreneur, a lot of times it's you.
mm,
You're every day, me, myself, and I.
yep, yep.
We're a team of three,
That's
me,
my
myself, and
team,
I.
yep, me, myself, and I, yeah.
Let me put on my marketing hat.
Yep,
So, and so it's a lonely place. It's you and your mind, and really. And so, how do you work with those people when they can go down those ugly paths? I mean, you
yeah,
know, I think it's even more important. I'll put it this way, and I'm sure you would agree that we need support. We need
yeah,
support systems. We need to
100%.
have some coaching because a lot of times, I mean, sometimes we can work ourselves out of it, but sometimes it takes a different perspective to get us back on track. And so
Yep.
how do you work with the clients that you work with to kind of get them back on track?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I just want to say, like, you can't see the prescription from inside the bottle, right? So,
Right.
and there's also a quote out there. I'll have to look it up so I don't mess it up. But it's something like you can't solve your problems with the same brain that created those problems. I think it was
Mhm.
Albert Einstein actually who said that. So you definitely need that outside person. And so unfortunately, sometimes those people aren't the ones who are reaching out for help because they're not sure. They're feeling confused. They're feeling like, I don't know, but those people who are solopreneurs or, really just me, myself, and I, a team of three, like those are the people who probably need the most help because what happens is when we're by ourselves, we not only feel lonely, we tend to overthink. We get, all we have is our own brain. And when you're
Right.
thinking about all this stuff up here, it tends to get really overwhelming. We overthink. We get stuck in our head and we don't actually take that action that we need to take. So I would just say anyone who feels like they are stuck in their head and they're having a hard time moving forward, like that's a sign that you need some support, and there's nothing wrong with getting help. There's really nothing wrong with reaching out, getting some
Mhm.
support from a coach or a sales trainer if you're having difficulty specifically with the techniques with selling. But figure out, like, what is it that you most need in your business, and then get some help. And I know that people are like, well, I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend money. But the truth is that every single business on this planet has needed money to make it run and make it, successful. So why are you hesitating, right? And ask
Mhm.
yourself, what is the consequence if I don't get help? If I continue to do this on my own, how long am I going to keep, butting my head against the wall before, I
Mm.
realize something's got to change here. And so when you're feeling ready to make that change, or even if you're not feeling ready to make that change, I encourage you to at least, have some calls with some coaches, talk to some people that you suspect might, that you feel like you might vibe with, that you like their energy, you like what they're doing. Just have a conversation. And that's why I think it's so important for coaches who are selling their services to offer us, a clarity call or a consult call, because we want to feel like that connection. We want to know, like, does this person,
Absolutely.
jive with me? Do we have a good relation, a good connection? Do we seem to get each other? And the most important thing, I think, this is what I was taught as a therapist, the most like important thing is the relationship you have with that person that you're working with. So, yeah, get to know a
100%.
few coaches and then make a decision based on that.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And I know there's a lot of high ticket coaches out there
Yeah,
that don't get on a call with
I don't get
people.
that. Yeah,
And they might have a salesperson that books them and sells them, and all of a sudden you're in a program. And I
yeah,
mean five, $10,000 programs that you don't even get to meet the trainer or the
yeah,
coach at all. And I would say personally, and this is just my belief, run. I think if you can't talk to the person that's going to be training you and mentoring you, it's not a good thing because
no.
you're gonna spend a lot of money, and I don't and you're probably not gonna get what you want because 'cause I've done it. I've been there.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. I know. I absolutely agree with you. I really think those coaches that are, these high ticket coaches who, yeah, I've had those interviews where it's not even the coach that's doing the sales call, and I'm like, I'm not going to sign up for your program if I don't even know you. You know what I mean? I have to get to know you and figure out if we're a good fit before I'm going to invest in you. And so that it's just crazy to me. And I absolutely would never hire a coach unless I got to actually talk to that coach and also
100%.
know that the work that I'm doing is going to be with that person, not somebody on their team,
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. Because I had it happen, and then I never even met the coach, never had a conversation with them ever, and they assigned me to someone that I could have probably coached, quite
Exactly.
honestly. And
I know.
so,
I
yes,
know.
that is just kind of word of wisdom that
Yeah.
if you can't talk to the person, if you can't connect with the person, run. Talk to myself, talk to Jennifer.
Yeah.
I can give you a recommendation. I know lots of really good
Yes,
coaches.
you do.
You
You do. You know everybody.
I do know everybody. I can definitely hook you up. Now, I do want to talk about something because I know one of your courses about how to be more magnetic. And don't
Yes,
we all want to be more magnetic?
I think
And
so.
there's some people out there that are probably like, "Hey, my business is going pretty good. I feel pretty confident. I don't know if I need a mindset coach because my mind's pretty positive and I've had some good success." But what would you say to that person? Because can you take someone that has some good success and their mindset's in a good place and help them to really magnetize their mindset to really better attract? So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just have to say, and you said this before, if you have a human brain, you have mindset issues. Everyone does. It's totally how our brains are wired. So even if you feel like, my mindset's pretty good, like even you admitted, Becky, like you've done a lot of mindset work over the years, and yet
Still work on it.
yeah, all of us do. I do every single day. I mean, it's a lifelong process. So, it's even if you're doing well, even if you think your mindset is great, like think about where do you want to be and who's that person that you like that highest version of yourself that you want to become. And if you're not there yet, and I feel like we all have room to grow, like as humans, like that's what keeps us like living and joyful and happy is like growing and developing. And so everyone has that capacity, right? And so I would say everyone needs a mindset coach, absolutely. And even if it's not, and I focus on business, but I can coach anyone on anything. That's the way I'm trained as a therapist and also as a life coach. Even if your business is going really well, you might want to ask yourself, like, but how much am I enjoying this business? And even though I'm making money, am I loving what I'm doing every day? Am I like excited to get out of bed in the morning, or am I hustling? Am I feeling like, I'm just like kind of doing the grind, 9 to 5
Sure.
grind, even though it's my own business, because
On the hamster wheel.
absolutely. Yeah. We don't want to be on that hamster wheel. We want to be, experiencing like this wonderful world of entrepreneurship, which should be giving us not just money, but like time and
Joy.
joy, excitement, balance in our lives, right? So we need all of that. So even if you're making great money, ask yourself, like, but is this all there is? Do I have it all? Do I have everything I want? And don't be afraid of having it all. You can have everything, right? You can have a happy family, a happy relationship, a great business. You can have all of it, but it all starts with your mindset. And the people out
I
there
love
who
it.
are like, no, I don't deserve all of it. That's the people who need the help.
And I mean, this is just how I feel, but I don't think we ever reach the pinnacle. I mean, I
No.
think we're always growing and striving, and I will be a lifelong learner as long as my feet are on
Mhm.
this earth. I will
Yeah.
always be developing myself and working on myself because I want to be the best version of it in my
Yep.
family, in my career, in my life.
Yeah.
And and if you're not working on your mindset, are you okay at work, but maybe taking it out on your family?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it
I
can lead to if you're not working on, really improving and finding that joy in the journey. And what I'd like to ask now is how does one work with Jennifer Jacobsen, the business therapist? Share a little bit about some of your programs and how, and Jennifer, I've been telling her, gotta get on LinkedIn, gotta get on LinkedIn.
I
So we
did.
got her on
I did.
LinkedIn.
Here
Yes.
I am.
And so if you watch this, please, please, please connect with her on LinkedIn. She's growing her LinkedIn audience. She is the real deal. I mean, she's a clinical licensed therapist. I thought it was interesting when you said doing as a therapist, you were always looking in the back, looking in people's past
Yeah.
and really
Yeah.
uncovering past wounds. But you like coaching because you're looking and helping people in the future. And I thought that was really an interesting
Yeah.
perspective that you have in therapy versus coaching. But tell us a little bit about some of your programs and how people can connect and work with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Becky. Yeah, I mean, it all starts with a call because I wanna talk to you. I want us to chat and connect. So that's where it all starts. But I do have two different programs. I have what's called business therapy, which is a longer term, more of a deep dive program. That's my one-on-one, and it's high touch, high level support. There is no one else but me here, and I'm meeting with you very regularly. We meet every single week. In between our sessions, I am talking to you via, direct messenger or text or something. So we're in your business. We're really diving deep into what are the blocks, what's holding you back. We're figuring it all out, and that is, a longer term 6-month program. But you have me in your back pocket, so it's very very high touch support to make sure that yeah, you're becoming that most magnetic version of you, right? That's what the goal
Mhm.
is. I also have a group program, and I just couldn't come up with a name, so I'm calling it the membership. The membership. And the little
Okay.
tagline for that is from meh to magnetic. So meh, like not so great, to magnetic because you want to be attracting people to you. And the way that you do that is through mindset work. And so part of that program comes free if you sign up for business therapy. And within that program, you are in a very small group. It's not, none of these big, huge groups where you get lost in the
Lost,
in the
right?
crowd. It's a very intimate group of other entrepreneurs who we all, basically do group coaching, and you get time every single week with me, and you get access to my course, the Magnetic Coach Method, so you can learn all of the basics of, business and mindset. And what else do you get? Oh yeah, and then I have a private Facebook group for that as well. So you can throw your content in there, and get it can be reviewed by me, because I can pick out, I'm not like a content writer, but I can pick out content that is not as powerful as it could be. So I'm going to help you turn your content into a more magnetic message so that people are
Okay.
more drawn to you as well. So yeah, everything's
Your
about mindset.
content your content has been great. Did you hire someone doing your content for you?
No, I do my own
Wow.
content. I mean,
Look
I've
at
been
you.
getting a little bit of help from Chat GPT. I'll be honest. I've
Wow,
recently
okay.
fallen in love with Chat GPT only because my brain has so much going on. And so sometimes I just need to idea dump into Chat GPT, and then it forms a cohesive whole for me. So,
Okay.
but I mean, there's nobody else in my business except me and my two dogs who hang out occasionally on the floor next to me. That's it.
Oh, well, maybe you could be a content writer if you decide you don't wanna do, mindset coaching because it looks really good.
Thank
I've been like,
you.
"Wow, she's really kicking it up."
Thank
No,
you. I
it is
appreciate that.
beautiful. Yay.
Thanks.
Yeah, so connect with Jennifer. And I mean, I've known Jennifer, like I said, a year and a half. She's an ambassador in my community. I've gotten to know her very, very well. She is generous with her time and her knowledge. She is fun and passionate and just a real good human being that can
Oh,
absolutely help you. And we
thanks so
all
much.
need people like that in our life. We really do. We need resources and connections and opportunities to connect with people that truly care about making a difference. And
Yeah.
that is what I see in Jennifer and what you do. So
Oh,
I
thank
appreciate you.
you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for interviewing me here and introducing me to the LinkedIn platform.
Yeah,
I put it off for a long time and here I am. So thank you so much for inspiring me to do that.
absolutely. No problem. And I appreciate you. And thank you, everyone on LinkedIn. Make sure to say hello in the comments, connect with Jennifer, follow her on LinkedIn. And if I can personally help you, let me know, reach out to me. Thank you all. And thanks, Jennifer. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.